Welcome to Hanging with the Hoopers podcast. Enjoy our speaker spotlight.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Hanging with the Hoopers podcast. Tim and Andrew Hooper, your hosts, where we discuss the attitude of leadership because we believe it's everything, the heart and the way we connect. And just the few times I've interacted with our guest, his big, huge heart comes through, whether it's the telephone, whether it's a Zoom call, or for those privileged enough to have heard him in person. But so the attitude of leadership, we are excited to have David Bravo Jr. on the podcast today, and a little teaser for you guys attending the Energize conference. But David, welcome to the podcast.
I don't know if
Exactly,
we're going to kick in the crowd noise. Hey,
pumping it in.
First start. We talk about attitude. I always like to begin with an attitude of gratitude. I've had the chance to see you guys rise up in the industry to absolutely seasoned world-class professionals. So let me first start by just saying thank you. Thank you for the opportunity, obviously, to be on this podcast. Thank you for the opportunity to be at the event coming up. I'm really, really, really excited about what's going to take place. So let me just start by saying thank you. I know we've talked about potentially doing this for a while now, and the fact that it's here and it's happening, man, I'm super, super pumped up. So thank you, guys.
Absolutely.
Hey, thank you.
Absolutely.
And January 17th, January 18th, Energize in Columbia, Maryland, and Richmond, Virginia. David Bravo Jr. himself, title reps only. Of great group. If you're not a part of that group on Facebook, go join that group. David, thanks for joining us. And man, you're coming out to the East Coast in the middle of winter in January. Tell me how you feel about that, first and foremost.
Okay, so here's some fun fact, man. I love football. I love my poor floundering LA Chargers. And I was looking already at the dates. It turns out that's wild card weekend. And I'm just going to throw this out there to the universe. Should the Ravens host the LA Chargers, man, I will stay that whole week. I'll be the only Charger
I love it
in Maryland. But I'm planning on obviously getting out there, bundling up, and enjoying myself. So I'm really excited. I'm down with the cold. Bring it.
All right, yeah, but it's all about the layers. So bring layers, and you'll be good. And bring the fist too. Yeah,
This is boring, dude. We're at 70 degrees today.
There's
boring.
Nothing to navigate. There's no snow or sleet or ice to navigate. Come on, bring it to the East Coast in the middle of January. Now, hopefully the roads are going to be nice and clear for everybody. But yes, Columbia and then to Richmond, same program, but 2 events so that we can get to all of our agents across the DMV. So we want you there, be in the room. And some of y'all who know David, on the East Coast too. I mean, seats are filling up fast. So reach out to us, reach out to him, and get connected before we're at capacity. But David, just real quick, a little bit of a teaser. I mean, when you sent me over your hour and a half, keynote of here's what we're going to kind of walk through, the journey we're going to walk through, I was like, dang, an hour and a half only? Can we keep them longer? Keep them like mindset. I mean, talk about mindset, and then you're going to talk about how to go out and acquire some top players in our markets. You have specific practical, and I like that. I mean, you've spoken for us before and across the region in the industry. What I hear consistently is it's no fluff. It's practical. It's actionable. And the cool news is you're doing this on the West Coast. Like you're doing this, you're opening up your playbook. So kind of tease us out what you're going to take us through in like 5 minutes. Give us what you're going to give the hour and a half.
All right, we'll go one by one. So let's start with mindset. I cannot stress enough. Mindset is everything. If you don't have the right mindset, I mean, literally nothing will change from 2023 to 2024. I mean, period. And right now, more than ever, you have to be absolutely dialed in right here. You have to be. If you're not dialed in right here, this market is not messing with anyone across the nation. It's not messing. The challenges that you're seeing in Maryland and in Virginia, I promise you, we're seeing that in California, Arizona, Nevada, throughout everywhere, right? Low inventory, right? Nothing selling, high prices, high interest rates, even though they're trickling down a little bit. Still, this is a very challenging market. And so it 1000% starts with mindset. If you can fix your mindset knowing that I will do anything, be anything, do what I have to do, clock in, clock out, to make sure that every single day is successful, right? You can absolutely succeed and survive in this market, but more importantly, you can thrive in this market. I cannot stress enough, those that take action right now and those that will take this market for what it gives you, right? And squeeze every little bit out of it by our activities every single day. And that's a mindset, right? We have to know going into that, this is what it's going to take, right? And that now what do I got to do? I have to basically execute on the plan, right? And I promise you, you can still, even in this market, accomplish even your biggest goals, right? But if you don't fix your mindset right now, nothing will happen. You're going to get your butt kicked. I mean, just flat out. This market is not messing around. So we have to be all in on mindset. The second topic, go on.
No, go ahead.
Get in, boys.
Well, I was gonna say I love.
You said a lot, good stuff.
Yeah, I love that. And when you said you have to know what you're gonna go do.
That's right.
I think the problem with mindset that is so elusive for so many people is we have tied our mindset too often to the lagging indicator, to the outcome. And when the market has dealt us the hand that it has, we're just on this vicious cycle of getting our mindset whipped because we tied it to some outcome that we can't control.
That's right.
Uncoupling our mindset from the lagging and putting it on the leading. These are the action items. Because right now in this market, as you know, it's all about the sales conversations I'm having, the proactive habits, the things that I can do every day, get up, non-negotiable, these 3 things to start my day. Not even going to look at my inbox yet. I'm going to do these proactive sales actions that are going to, if nothing else, set up or put me in the room, set up a conversation, get me in front of these people. And it's those leading indicators that when my mindset's coupled to, then voila, I can hang my head up at night knowing I won. Now that lagging will happen. It's plant and it will grow, but we're so hung up sometimes on lagging. So I love that and I know you well enough, and just again being part of the TRO group. And if you're not, get in that Facebook group. I mean, the emphasis on proactive, sales activities. I can't wait to hear what you have for us about. And Andrew, I know mindset's huge for you, and I know David said execute, and that's your word. Like, go execute.
The hairs on my leg raised when he said execute. So I can't. Taking us back a few years. But I will say this, Tim, you kind of took the words out of my mouth. Like, David, exactly what you said. Like, we're all talking about leadership here, but you have to start by leading yourself. And so it's so easy to defeat yourself and self-sabotage when you're tying everything you're doing to that contract coming in. And if the contract doesn't come in today after I did my effort or the next 2 days, I get down, my tone changes, my attitude changes. Let's talk a little bit about that. Like, how do you manage, like, what do you focus on? I know you're going to go deep at Energize, but how do you focus on keeping you and your team level and consistent? Because we see a huge roller coaster right now across title agencies. So how do you stay consistent?
Hold on. I missed everything you said because I want to give everyone a gift right now. Follow this guy, Chad Wright. Chad Wright. Are you guys following this guy already? We get back to the execute. Follow Chad Wright, and he had a phenomenal Instagram video on that. And the guy's a former naval SEAL. He's like a hillbilly David Goggins, but there's a documentary out there. There's a documentary out there called Just 1 Mile. What a phenomenal! It's one of the best documentaries I've ever seen. I challenge everyone, watch that documentary. The first time I watched it, literally, it was 9:00 at night. And I told my wife, I said, I'm going for a run. And she's like, what? And I said, I'm going for a run. I don't know where I'm going to run, but I'm going to run. But so follow Chad Wright. But he has this video, and you got to find it and kick it out, Andrew, because I'm telling you.
Okay. We'll put it in the show notes. Yeah.
He talks about execute. Wow. And I'm getting chills right now thinking about that. So anyways, that's my gift to everyone. Chad Wright, Instagram.
I love it.
Watch the movie. Yeah. What was your question?
Yeah, we'll tag it. Yeah, so like I love that, and it's all about that. That's what I love about you, man. Is that rising tide mentality? You want to connect people to a resource that's going to help.
Absolutely.
So with the go executing, right? Like, we're tying a lot of what we're doing, and some of us, what Tim and I see is it's tied to a contract coming in the door. And when that doesn't happen based on activities, we get down. And there's that huge roller coaster in a title agency. It's constantly up, down, up, down, up, down. The tone of leadership, the attitude of leadership, the team, the morale. So how do you keep yourself and your team just consistently playing at that consistency where we're not going to get too high, we're not going to get too low? Like, give us some nuggets of wisdom there.
That's like, first off, that's like Bill Belichick, man. You don't get too high and too low, right? Now, when you talk about, right, that the roller coaster, the ebbs and flows of this business, that's absolutely real, right? And so there's another, I've really adopted and embraced the mentality is I focus on my activities, not the results. That's real, man. Right. And I know every single day, if I do these activities and contribute to my day, right, and I'm proactive, not reactive, and I'm not waiting for the contract to come to me, right? That's being reactive. But if I know I'm proactive, if I know I'm calling MTAs and doing NDCs and doing my power hour and my birthdays, right, and all these different steps, if I know I'm proactive, I don't care what the day results are at the end of the day, because again, I know these activities will equate to a successful week, a successful month, and a successful career, right? So if I focus on these activities every day, if I goose egg that day, I don't care, right? How many contacts did I make? How many people did I reach out to? How many new relationships did I cultivate, right? And I know for a fact, if I perform this consistently every single day, the results will come. The results will come. Right. And those are the lead indicators, right? What am I doing today? I get that chance to coach a lot of reps, and many times you'll see a rep in our industry spike, right? All of a sudden they'll be like, man, Christian is killing it right now. Eric is dominating, right? And you'll see them spike in the industry. And what happens? The reps start asking, and management starts asking, what are you doing, man? What are you doing right now to dominate, the biz right now? And the secret is, it is not what they're doing right now. It's what they started doing 6 months ago and 3 months ago, right? Those activity plans that they started implementing, right? It has nothing to do with right now. These are the fruits of the labor they've been putting in for months. And now finally we're seeing the lag measures that says, wow, they're God's gift to title. What are they doing right now? It's not right now. It's not right now. It's what they did months ago, right? It's the change, right? It's the mindset. It's the change of activities that they had to do back then that now we're seeing the results. So that's my biggest thing right now, approaching, this year and even next year. I don't celebrate the results. I celebrate the commitment to the activities, flat out, the commitment to the activities. And if you stay committed to this very specific roadmap that's crystal clear, you'll be a success. Just trust the process. You'll be a success. So,
do you give your team kind of the roadmap for Monarch and what you all are doing? Is that kind of set from the top, or is that more of a one-on-one process with each of them to come up with their own roadmap, but you're giving them the power to, like, hey, we're investing in you regardless if you get, like, we know that consistent success takes 5, 6, 7 months to build. Yeah. So, like, where does that roadmap come from for you and your team?
For me, I have the privilege of having empathy for people, for my people, and for all reps in general. I have the privilege of that. I have been in a position before where I've absolutely got my butt kicked. I got absolutely hammered, right? Been down in the dumps, financial challenges, all of the aboves, right? So I have empathy for that. I know what it takes to go from that point to be a decent rep, a mediocre rep, right? To get by, to survive, right? I know what it takes to open 10, 20 resales a month, right? Fast forward, I also know what it takes to open 50 resales a month. And I definitely know what it takes to open 100 resales a month without an assistant, without anything. So first and foremost, I have empathy for anyone I speak to. My first question is, where are you at? Where are you at? Are you at 10 deals a month? Are you at 5 deals a month? Wherever you're at, I can identify, okay, now the next step is we got to get here. So let's start making fundamental changes to get here. And then as you speak with higher producers, the ultimate conversation is, okay, you're successful right now. How do we be number one? How do we be number one in the county? How do we be number one in the state? Right? And what's it going to take to get there? So I think I approach things a little bit differently because I'm not just some sales coach, and I'm not just some, CEO or advisor or sales manager that hasn't done it. my heart remains being a sales rep. I have empathy for my people. So when I have the absolute privilege to teach my people at Monarch, we absolutely dive into it in a group setting, and we're going through anything and everything. And I literally give them every single tip, tool, resource, secret, script that I have. I need to go to bed at night knowing that I gave my people everything that I had, every knowledge, every tidbit, whatever I had. Going into last year, when you saw the market start to change, we did a 12-week, every single week we did a Zoom, and it was a round table Zoom, and we literally dove through every single process, every single prospecting technique that I knew. And it went from 12 weeks, and then we did it again for another. It went for 24 weeks, dude. Yeah. So this year, now that we're kind of getting back to a traditional format, in California and Los Angeles. So I've every month we're now having in-person sales meetings, and we're here. Close the door, get in the room, and let's have a conversation. So
great.
Again, but I don't think any of this works without me having empathy for my people. I've been a mediocre, horrible rep before, taking this industry for granted, and I've also been a very, very high producing rep who knows what it takes to get there. So I think it's just the empathy part that I have for everyone.
Solid, man. And I know one of the questions I was thinking to ask, and then you answered it, was how do you hold everybody accountable when you're having those one-on-ones? Where are you going? And then you just nailed it. The consistency, the rhythm of everybody's in the room, and everyone's not on the same level necessarily in the room, but success is breeding success, and you're sharing that energy amongst each other, and that consistency is so valuable. So, wow, we could dive so much deeper. And
we had to come to Jesus. I'll give you this, man. We had to come to Jesus last month, right? And I literally closed the door, and so we start talking about effort, right? And again, I shared a story about my son who was struggling in school. He's just not a school kind of kid, right? And so we start talking about the outcomes, and he's focused on the grades. I said, I don't care about your grades, but if you try your best, if you give me an A effort, that's all that matters to me. And I don't care if you get a C or a B or a D or an A. If you can tell me that you gave an A effort, then I will love you and congratulate you, right? But until we're going to give an A effort, you're not going to get that. So I remember our last sales meeting, we closed the door, man, and we had to come to Jesus. And it was very, very tough, and it was very challenging. Everyone graded themselves on their effort, period. And I don't care if it was an A, and I don't care if it was a D, right? And that was step one. Number one, where are we at, right? And I don't care if we're at a D, what's going to change in the next days, weeks, and months to make sure that we don't stay there. Great. Because at the end of the day, man, it's about effort, dude. It's not about the outcome. If a rep is giving it their all, right, it will come. And it's a weird yin and yang in sales, right? You have effort on one side, right? And then you have skills on the other. When you can match A effort, right, someone that's all in, with the appropriate training, right, of knowing what to do, what to say, how to approach, how to prospect, when you can marry that, that looks like the number one rep in that state, literally, right? So number one, you have to figure out the effort piece. Number two, if they have A effort, right, then the challenge is the skills. They don't know the skills. They haven't been taught the activities. They haven't practiced, right, scripts to make sure that they're a success. It's one or the other, right? If you have a failing rep and someone, by the way, someone who has the dream skills, right, and no effort, they suck. They just suck. They're out. Yeah, they suck. And it's heartbreaking because you see some incredible salespeople out there, tons of gold. But guess what? If they don't have the effort, they suck. You need both of those.
Conceited. Yeah.
Oh my God, you need both of them, to combine it. And that's what like a very good, high performing, talented rep looks like.
Yep. I love that. It's the old high will, low skill, high will, high skill, low will, high skill. Those sometimes are the worst because, like Tim just mentioned, a little bit of an arrogance comes in there. But I want to just give you kudos on real quick. Just give you kudos on creating a safe space, because I think this is key to pull out in this podcast. when you say a come to Jesus meeting, because Tim and I are all about the attitude of leadership.
You stole the words out of my mouth.
You went into that meeting and you made a safe space for all your employees to rank themselves honestly. A non-punitive, exactly. And then, like, it doesn't matter where you are. My commitment as your leader is to help you move that. If you're a D-effer, it's okay, but we need to get that to a C, up to a B, up to an A. Like, my commitment is to do that. So it's an honest come to Jesus. It's an empathetic come to Jesus. Yeah. I want to stress that because we've all seen the leaders who do the come to Jesus meeting, and it's literally a diatribe for 45 minutes or an hour of the leader just yelling at the team about effort. And so I love that you did it in a way that was safe space and help people be self-aware.
You said, tell me about you grade yourself. Yeah. You grade yourself.
And let me tell you, the most important part to that meeting is that is my bad. That is not their bad. That is my fault for allowing non-performing activity, non-performing mindset. That's not on them, dude. I cannot stress. And I apologize to a lot of these reps on my team. I apologize. I said, I am sorry. That is my bad. I've allowed this to happen. I've made you think that you can just cruise by and hang out, right? And shame on me as the leader for even allowing that. You know why? Our people deserve more. They really deserve more. And that's on me. I wear that out for sure. It was one of the most humbling meetings for me, just period, to walk out of there saying, shame on me. Shame on me for allowing that. Shame on no one else. That's my bad. I'm going to wear that. But I promise you, I'm going to get better. I promise you, I will get you better, right? And we're going to do this together. There's a good book, Jocko, Extreme Ownership.
Extreme Ownership.
Yes.
One of my favorites.
Decentralized command, baby.
Yeah, there are no bad teams. There are only bad leaders. Just flat out, period. You know, and that's a heavy crown that if you're in a leadership role, you're going to wear. But that's on you, man. That is not on your people. That's on you for A, not holding them accountable, B, not giving them the tools and resources to succeed, C, not giving them the training, you know, D, not working on their mindset, like all these different things. That's on the leader, man. So when I have these very, very intimate meetings, and it's crazy the fact that we're even sharing this, you know what I mean? Because these are very intimate, like to me, you know, personally. That's on me, man. That is not on anyone else. I wear that, but that's the real come to Jesus is for myself, because I need to be better. I can get better. I will be better on that, because we're not going to have that same meeting next year.
There you go.
I'm gonna tell you, Andrew. I'm sitting here just I mean, some goosebumps moments in there for sure. Especially when you talked about your son and the effort, and then going into your team and saying, "Hey, grade yourselves," and then you being humble enough to take that on and lead. That's leadership. That's the attitude of leadership. Listen, I know we're right up on time, but there's so much more we're going to unpack at Energize. So from acquiring top realtors, targeting non-directing customers, social media selling.
What to talk about today?
Power Hour. Listen, we dove deep into mindset and accountability with the team and that consistency.
I love that.
That's where we needed to go today. What in a sentence or two, like some of the other things you're going to cover at Energize. Why do people absolutely need to be in the room and block this day out?
Okay, let's start with acquiring top realtors, right? If you have the desire, if you have the motivation, if you have the mindset to be number one in your territory, right? You cannot be number one until you acquire the number one realtors out there. Just flat out. You can't be number one without acquiring the top people in your backyard. So we're going to discuss specifically the title sales funnel of how to master this process of acquiring the top realtors in your backyard. That's just period, right? Next one, we're going to talk about NDC. NDC remains the biggest letdown of our title industry and the biggest opportunity of our title industry as well, right? For those that need more customers, for those that want more customers, we have the opportunity to work with other agents that aren't using us, that didn't pick us for 30, 45 days. It's our duty now, the stage is set, to acquire them. Show them what you got. Show them what your company has, right? Show them why they need to work with you. So we're going to talk about that process specifically. NDC, the non-directing customer, and how we acquire them. Next one, it's huge, obviously, right now, social media selling, right? Social selling, I call it. How do we create the same title sales funnel for social media? there is a very plan specific attack on that, right? The industry has changed, right?
Yep.
Agents, they're not in the offices anymore. You can call in 20 offices, you'll find a third of the agents that used to be there, right? COVID has just changed the landscape. So now what do we have to do? We have to leverage other tools and other resources to make sure that we can still acquire even in today's market. So we're going to talk about social selling, how to create a social title funnel, and what does that look like? And then finally, my favorite, the power hour. I love that dearly. We're going to dive into the core four. That consists of thank yous, birthdays, MTAs, which is all in California, it depends what market, but all the new listings that come onto market. And then finally, NDCs, non-directing customers. What does that look like? I promise you, my single hour of the core four will change every single day of your working life. So I'm really, really excited, obviously, to dive into all of them. Yeah.
There's a promise. There's a promise.
It's a good one.
David, I can't wait. I told Andrew, I said what's exciting about you joining us is Andrew and I go and belly to belly with teams, title agents, and their sales reps and marketing teams, belly to belly, one-on-one with their teams, coaching them. And I told Andrew, I said, I'm excited to be in the same room with you because every time I get around you, you give me something new. You give me something because you're relevant. You're doing this stuff. It's not something that you have in a book from 10 years ago that worked. No, this is right now in your business, in today's market, in the same challenges that we're all facing, you are doing. And that's where I think everything you just listed, it's going to impact everybody's bottom line, everybody's businesses. It's absolutely going to be playbook items for them. So I'm excited. Tell us real quick about your book coming out, because I know there's a book. We're going to make it available for everybody attending. We're going to give some form of a discount or something, but we're going to make it where you guys can. Yeah. So tell us about that real quick.
So Title Bible 2.0 is officially dropping. Funny you said 10 years ago. So 10 years ago, I wrote a book when I first became a sales manager. I said there really wasn't any training manual of title sales. Like there's no manual, right? What happens? You're given it. Welcome to Title. Here's your box of business cards. Go get them, Tiger. Like that's it. You know what I mean? And there really wasn't like a meat and potatoes. So I remember I was training a new rep who just got into the business, who was new to the business. And I started listing out these bullet points of things that you'd need to do to be successful. And so that slowly evolved into the Title Bible, the first one, because it just became a very basic meat and potatoes sales 101 for title. 10 years later, obviously, again, the landscape has changed. So I'm pretty excited. I will be releasing Title Bible 2.0. And what I'm doing basically is updating all the chapters, every single one of them.
Nice.
And I'm saying, are they valid? This is how you can change or approach it differently. And then I'm throwing new stuff in there, like social media and all these different forms of sales now that we're dealing with. So I'm excited. It could come out potentially at the end of the year. So look out for that.
Love it.
But yeah, we'll do something. We'll do a discount code or whatever for who's ever in attendance.
Well,
I have to say this. I did not write the Title Bible 1.0 to make money. I think I make like $6 or something. It's a little novel. Like, I don't care. And by the way, I think I sold 100 of them, and I think I gave away probably 400. I didn't write this book for financial reward. I wrote this book because this is what our industry needed. So even now more than ever, even with 2.0, I think our industry needs this. You know what I mean? Every secret's there. It's all there. Just implement it.
So good.
Go execute, right? Well, that's what it's all about.
Execute. If you watch that video, dude, I'm telling you,
you're going to.
We'll add it and check out the show notes. If you're a title agent, business owner, branch managing attorney, sales or marketer, anybody with a hand in growing business, be in the room. Columbia, Maryland, the 17th of January, Richmond, Virginia, the 18th of January. And come hang out with us. We've got some other speakers as well. David Bravo Jr. taking the main stage right after lunch, and for an hour and a half going to download his playbook. So be in the room, guys, and join us and check out the resources in the show notes. David, thanks for being on today, man, and just a great deep dive into some of the mindsets and habits and just the emotional intelligence that a leader needs right now in this market. So thank you.
Thank you, brothers. Thank you guys very, very much. Thank you again for obviously having me. I'll see everyone in 5 weeks, man. Should be fun.
All right.
Awesome. It's a pleasure. We'll see y'all next time.
Thanks, guys.